impressive, imposing, the ashlar stone facade of Halifax station with its lion heads. Whose face is that? Neptune's? All this is lost on the prospective rail traveller. This is the traveller's first view of the station. Not so impressive, definitely not imposing. The Manchester and Leeds Railway Company, latterly Lancashire and Yorkshire, opened the Manchester-Leeds line in 1841 and 3 years later ran a 2-mile spur into Halifax from Greetland Junction. Some years later the line from Halifax was extended north eastwards to Bradford. Out of Beacon Hill Tunnel on its journey from Bradford. What an evocative name, Beacon Hill. The diesel unit pulls into the station with its backdrop of soot-grimed mills over a stone viaduct whose parapet is partly strengthened with cast iron, passing a chocolate factory with a famous name. To me, all of it intensely picturesque. Manchester bound. 2 classes of diesel multiple unit are shown working over the line. The Metro Camel units and the Birmingham Rail Carriage and Wagon Company Calder Valley sets. Both classes are shown. The multiple unit climbs away from the station and passes out of use weed-covered sidings, the goods sheds and sidings long since abandoned. The Birmingham Rail Carriage and Wagon Company diesel unit passes Dryclough Junction and then over the River Calder, to which it owes its nickname, Calder Valley Unit. The petrol train goes over a viaduct on its way east to Elland. The Calder Valley Unit west on a higher viaduct, Copley Viaduct, both lines emanating from Milner Royd Junction. Another oil train, this time west towards Sowerby Bridge, where only the forecourt of the original station remains. Sowerby Bridge Waste Box and into Sowerby Bridge Tunnel. The box, once the junction of a short passenger branch line to Rishworth, long since lifted. The view of the box from above the tunnel mouth obscures a fire-damaged box door and entrance. Out of the tunnel, and the valley now starts to narrow as Marthamroyd is approached. The River Calder, Rochdale Canal, road and railway competing with each other for the valley floor. After the coal train, a quick refresher at Marthamroyd before Hebden Bridge. The charm of Hebden Bridge station, pure Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway. Even the signal lever frame is cast with the LYR markings. And such a surprise, the cheaping of hundreds of day-old chicks in cardboard boxes, once such a familiar railway consignment. Yes, Hebden Bridge says it all. The old chap, working bare-chested in the hot July sunshine, sold me rhubarb and gooseberries from his Lineside allotment. The valley sides get steeper and the views quite spectacular, looking down on the road, railway, canal and river, all fighting for space and pushing the old stone buildings of the early woolen industry up the steep hillsides. Millwood Tunnel at Holroyd Junction. The line diverges to Burnley via Copley Pit or straight on to Todmorden. One mile southwest of the station, a superb viaduct, mock castellated turrets, arrow slits. Only the portion of the viaduct over the canal has these features. When this viaduct was first opened in 1841, the newfangled railways were the first real competition to the prospering canal system. The railway was determined to show its might in all its splendour. Burrowing under the village of Walsden, Winterbutt Lee Tunnel. Approaching Summit Tunnel under a small aqueduct. A few yards into the tunnel, a huge open air shaft of sorts, then a much smaller normal-sized air shaft. The aqueduct looking from above. The tunnel mouth. The huge circular air shaft of sorts. The smaller, typical air shaft and the tunnel exit on the Manchester side. Pennines are left behind and the Calder Valley unit approaches Littleborough. The woolen cloth towns are at the other side of the Pennines. We are now in cotton cloth country, and the associated bleaching and dyeing works start to appear as Rochdale is approached. The Rochdale Canal, after years of neglect and disuse, is being opened up again. Machines are cutting back reeds and bulrushes. Cattle are having a heyday. A quick jump to Castleton. The ubiquitous petrol train heads towards Elland. The Manchester-bound unit swings due south, the other line west to Bury. Middleton Junction West. I spoke to the signalman, who told me this cabin used to have 2 lever frames, one on either side of the box. This was once a junction for Oldham. Vitriol works. What devilish visions the name conjures up. The box, a post-war LMS Type 14. Only 4 miles to Manchester, Victoria. Thorpe's Bridge Junction at Newton Heath, passing the carriage sidings and depot. The line coming in upper right is from Oldham. Down to Miles Platting. The right fork is also to Victoria via Queen's Road Tunnel. The large building is the BR Workshops. Brewery sidings, midway between Newton Heath and Miles Platting. Alas, the sidings are no more, but the brewery is thriving and celebrating its 150 years anniversary. The Calder Valley line and a line from Sowerby Bridge converge at Miles Platting and run down into Manchester, Victoria. A curve joins the Calder Valley and Sowerby Bridge lines, forming a triangular junction. A permanent way train enters the station from brewery sidings, closely followed by my first sighting of a pacer unit. Calder Valley set leaves Miles Platting and passes Collyhurst Street junction box as it drops down into Victoria Station. Collyhurst Street box consoles the line into the Tilcon Stone Terminal. down the bank into Victoria Station. To close the film, the London and North Western Railway coal tank at Victoria.